Welcome back. When it comes to investing, it can be hard to figure out what it all means, especially with all of that jargon that financial experts use. But today, Emmett Dupas is here from Bienville Capital Group to help us break it all down. Good morning,
Good
Emmett.
morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us, because I am a person who does not understand all of that financial jargon as well. Let's start with these caps, large caps, medium caps. What does that all mean?
Yeah, I think when we talk about financial jargon, a lot of people out there, it's like Mandarin Chinese menu and Mandarin Chinese.
We
and
love
most people,
Chinese food.
We do, but trying to understand that for most people is that just, it's a different phrase and they don't understand things. So what we want to do is really try to bring some of that jargon back to participants so they have a better understanding of what exactly am I invested in, what do I own. So we talk, as financial professionals, sometimes we use phrases to make ourselves sound better with clients, or sometimes clients just don't appreciate or understand what we're talking about. So we use the phrase large cap. We're talking about our companies where the value of the company is greater than $10 billion or more. So literally you could drive down Veterans Boulevard and go, okay, well, Starbucks, Apple, Johnson & Johnson, IBM, Facebook, Target, Walmart, all the things that we use in our daily lives where those companies are valued at $10 billion or more. So if you own a large cap fund, more than likely you've got some of those companies in that. Mid caps are going to be the companies where the value is between $2 billion and $10 billion. $2 billion. You'll probably know a little bit less of those names, but we always suggest that people actually go in and understand exactly what is it that I own. Family Dollar stores might be in there, in that realm, but not something you're going to use on a regular daily basis. And then small caps are a phrase that we use for companies where the value is between $500 million and $2 billion. Locally, you'd probably have SCP Pool, which is a pool corp out of Covington. Would probably fall in that realm, but most of those, you're not going to know those names of those companies. So for some people, they really rely on the mutual fund managers or the ETF managers to actually invest in those particular companies, because most people don't understand the balance sheets of what exactly they do.
Of course.
Now, as we get into the other component of it, which is international or world, international is going to be just foreign securities. So just companies that are in Europe or Asia or Far East, India. And then when you talk about world, a mutual fund that's invested in world, it'll include all of the international, but also will have U.S. mixed to it as far as a component.
And I think it's so important that, especially people who want to start a business out there, that we learn more of this financial jargon. Like another one that I hear a lot of people talk about is yields. Talk a little bit more about what those yields mean. So
we talk about bonds. So bonds, and you've got high yield, and yield is actually the return that you're going to net. So it's when we're investing, it's always about the return. It's about returns, right? It's about returns. So on bonds, you've got different types of bonds. You've got high yield bonds, which are, some people may be familiar with the term that we used to use called junk bonds, where it's more high credit risk, higher returns, but then there's also the subject and the question as to, am I going to get my money back in time if there's a recession of some sort? But then you also have municipal bonds, which are issued by states and local municipalities, where the interest that you earn from that is tax-free, depending upon what state you're living in most cases, but federal tax-free. Then you have government bonds. You have government agency bonds. You have corporate bonds. So a company like Apple issued bonds a couple years ago at 1% bonds over in Europe. So you could actually own a bond where Apple's paying you interest on the money that you've lent them. And then finally, you've got treasuries, which are the only thing as financial advisors we can say is guaranteed, which is full faith and credit of the United States. So that's T-bills, T-bonds, Treasury notes.
Good to know. You hear me? If you're trying to start the next big business, you are getting your advice right now. Another thing that I would like to talk about is annuities.
Yes.
What are those? Because even the word is hard to pronounce.
Yeah, so annuities, you've got a lot of financial professionals out there throw that phrase out, but annuities are really a contract between a participant and an insurance company that's going to provide you with some sort of guaranteed income, potentially for a term or for life, depending upon how you do it. And there's different types of annuities. So the viewers out there really need to have a better understanding of what exactly am I investing my money in, kind of a deep dive. For most people, they don't understand this. So you've got fixed annuities that give you a guaranteed rate of return. And it's fixed for a period of time. Think of an annuity as kind of having a force field around it in regards to the taxation of it. So there's no income tax on the gains that you're earning during the year. You don't get a 1099 until you actually start to draw that money out. And once that money's drawn out, then it becomes taxable to you. You've got fixed annuities that give you a guaranteed rate of return.
Which is good to have.
Which is good to have. You have variable annuities, which are tied to what's called sub-accounts, which are mutual funds. And so depending upon how you're invested, your annuity value can increase significantly, or just depends upon what investment you're utilizing.
Right.
And then you have some annuities that are more like in line with what's called deferred income annuities or portfolio income annuities, where I've given a bucket of money and I just need a stream of income for a period of time for myself and or my survivorship, whether, spouse.
And it is important to learn all of this information. Emmett Dupas, I could talk to you all day, especially we're going to start a business together. I hear that. Thank you so much for joining
Absolutely,
us this morning.
great to be here.
I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. Hey, Bienville Capital Group is located in the 100 block of Veterans Boulevard. You can learn more on their website, bienvillecapitalgroup.com, or call them at 620-4801.